It's a different view of the kitchen. Welcome to my island. So it's Sunday and I'm making a salad for lunch. I want to show you one of my favorite easy main dish salads because, you know, people always think that salads are somehow morally superior, and they're not. But I do find that they're a good medium through which to get some great colorful vegetables in. I like them. I'm a salad person. So I'm going to take you through how I make a really easy one that I really like. You can make your own variations. First of all, let me introduce you to my island. Last night we had some friends over. It was really nice. And we made s'mores over a fire. And so I have this like unfinished Hershey bar staring at me in the face. I felt pretty gross after eating the better half of that last night while I was clearing up. So I'm going to do a high protein bread salad, right? So some of you don't have bread or gluten, so you can pass over this bread part. But I'll show you how I do this. I got a stale baguette. If I go shopping, I usually go shopping on Fridays. I often get a baguette and some cheese that we can nibble on. And so what I'm going to do with this stale baguette, I got this idea from Jacques Pepin, is I'm going to cut this up in cubes, I know, like croutons. But instead of making them crunchy like croutons, I'm going to kind of make them like bits of meaty chewiness. So I'm going to put those in my bowl. That's just for two of us, so that's plenty. And then I'm going to add some juicy things, and I'm going to add my dressing in there so that those croutons can really absorb the dressing. Now, my friend Therese came over last night. She's the one who I get my microgreens through because she runs Harvest of Peace microgreens. But she had lots of tomatoes, and not having a garden this year, I was keen. So I thought I'd make a really nice tomato salad. And again, you can use whatever thing. So right now, you know, lots of tomatoes, throw them in with avocados and stuff. That's a great salad ingredient. I mean, just throw all of your tomatoes, feta and basil or whatever in there. But here's another tomato. And one thing you can do to get, you know, you can kind of squish everything up with your hands. See, so those tomatoes and those breadcrumbs are about the same size. I'm going to squish this up with my hands a little bit so they're dressed. And then I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm not going to add more salt yet. I want that on my greens. I'm going to put some red wine vinegar on that. And some olive oil. I'll wait for the salt until I add my greens. There. Now while I'm making the rest of that salad, while I'm prepping the rest of that, those breadcrumbs are going to absorb all that liquid and they're going to be really tasty. So now what I want in this salad, this is going to be a big lunch. So I want a high protein salad, always. Where's my protein coming from? I just boiled some eggs because I found a nest in our greenhouse. So I saw what floated, threw out the stuff that floated, and boiled the rest. So I've got a couple boiled eggs, and I had a can of tuna, and I drained that out. Yes, I use a colander. I drained that out, so I'm going to add some tuna and some hard-boiled eggs. So let's get on with that. I know you're like, tuna fish has mercury. It totally has mercury. So so I don't eat that often. I eat it sometimes. I buy it on a schedule. I'll put it on my Costco list. I'll buy a bunch of tuna, and I'll make a big batch of tuna salad probably once a month. And that's it. And I call it good. Other people might have different rules for that. So I'm putting those two hard-boiled eggs, and I'm going to put in, I'm not going to put in the whole thing. I'm going to just scatter in some chunks of tuna, maybe half a can. And that's our high protein salad. That's good enough for me. Each egg is going to have 7 grams of protein. That tuna that I put in, a total probably has, that was less than 3 ounces. I'll bet that was 15 grams of protein. So if we split this salad, that's going to be just under 20 grams of protein per person. I'm okay with that. If you wanted to add more protein, you can add another egg and a little more tuna. But I'm okay with what I have. Okay, now let's increase the nutrient density. I have a radicchio. If you've been following along, you know I got radicchio this week. I will often grate purple cabbage into my salads. So that's when I'll get out a box grater and I'll just grate some cabbage, like purple cabbage is what I like. I'll grate some carrot, I'll grate some golden beets, maybe I'll grate radishes or turnips into it, whatever. I'm going to add a little bit of this. Radicchio, I said radicchio, didn't I? And I think it's radicchio. Radicchio is a fairly bitter green, so I don't like a whole salad made of that. If I do, I'm going to add a lot more salt. And then I've got some radishes and salad turnips and avocado. 2 roosters crowing at the same time. So on Fridays, when I go shopping, or if I hit a market or something, I will have, I always say, what are the salad vegetables I could get? What would be good in my salads this week? And that week, that's what I'll put in my salads. So I know they're like, you've got to have a lot of variety, but I'm okay with eating the same thing repeatedly for a week in different forms, and then mixing that up. Variety and things like that doesn't happen to have to happen in a single day or a single week. I mean, think about people who eat seasonally. If you lived in southern Italy, you'd be eating eggplant for every meal, every day, for quite a while it's in season, along with zucchinis and tomatoes and things like that. But that changes. So in a given month, you're going to eat a lot of the same foods. You know what I mean? And then that changes. So you don't have to get too bloody-minded about that. And then let's put in half of this avocado. I'm going to save the other half of this avocado for my smoothie tomorrow, because I like adding avocado to my smoothie. It's a great fat for your smoothie. There we go. So that's the chunky part of my salad. Isn't that amazing? I mean, that's like, gosh, it smells good. Now, I put tuna in there this time. Tuna is really, that's all you can pretty much taste and smell in there. What I did last week, and I'll probably do it again next weekend, is when I roasted some salmon last week. If you caught that video, I roasted a salmon. I used my leftover salmon and put it in a salad like this. I've got microgreens from Teresa's Harvest of Peace microgreens, the detox mix. Broccoli and radish microgreens, so high in sulforaphane, just unparalleled for ramping up your detoxification, getting that estrogen metabolized. I'm going to throw in some pre-roast arugula, because that's what I have right now. And I'm going to add a little salt to those greens, because there is already a lot of salt in the bread. The bread has salt in it, really salty. So I'm going to add a little salt, but I want salt on my greens. I'll actually rub it on there. You might know that the word for salad comes from the Latin sale, which means salt. And salad means salted greens. Because, I mean, I know the greens we use now are really mild, but traditionally we'd eat really bitter greens. And the way, I'm adding feta cheese. And the way, so there's a little more protein. So the way we would temper that bitterness is by salting it, because if you add salt to bitter, it sweetens that taste. Let's add a little more of that. This would also be nice with some, you could add blue cheese to this. But feta, you could cut up some mozzarella. Oh, you know what would be fantastic? Would be an Italian chopped salad. So you can make this the same way and use all the same things. Maybe keep the fish in there and add some chopped salami and add some cubed mozzarella and then have kind of an Italian vinaigrette. How great is that? So a really, really dense, meaty, literally meaty salad. All right, that's it. That's lunch. So I wouldn't if you wanted to have more carbs in this, you could add a lot more bread and really bulk it up, but this is a huge lunch for us. And it already has the dressing in there. I think it actually needs a little more dressing because those breadcrumbs absorb so much of that. A little more. I just use red wine vinegar. I'll often use red wine vinegar combined with balsamic vinegar. Let's do that. mostly because I like to dilute my balsamic vinegar, so it's a little less intense. Balsamic vinegar is more expensive than red wine vinegar. That's it. Look at that. I'm going to plate it up so you can see it. So good. Maybe it doesn't look like much, it just looks like mush stuff with greens. Might add more tomato to that too. Have a really nice Sunday, you guys. Talk to you later.